Are you a side musician on a gig? And do you know where your boundaries are at? And this is something that kind of came up in conversation today, where I was talking to a friend of mine who was playing a gig and he was having some frustrations. And to make it short, he played on a gig with another instrumentalist, and this other instrumentalist in this gig was just breaking every rule in the book. So this gig was in Nashville's Lower Broadway, and this musician was breaking every rule of Nashville's Lower Broadway, but also just breaking a lot of musical rules in general and a lot of just personal conduct rules in general. And so my buddy was telling me about how frustrated he was, and he just wanted to get it off his chest. And my first question to him was, all right, man, so was this your gig? Were you hiring the gig? Were you the front man on the gig? Or was this somebody else's gig and you were the side man? And my buddy said, no, it was, the front man hired everyone for the gig. It was their gig, and I was just a side musician. And I said, all right, cool. So if you are the side man, you have to know where your lane is at. You have to know what lane you're driving in. And that lane is pretty much on your instrument. Now, you can be a good team member and help everyone else out in the band. Your job is playing that instrument in your lane, but your job is also to do it in a way that supports everybody musically. Your job is to be a personality that supports everybody musically, professionally. Your job isn't to be the musical director. Your job isn't to be HR. Your job isn't to make the decisions for the gig. And I wasn't preaching, but I was more or less speaking to him from a place where I understand that, where every time I'm on a gig, I have to know what my role is. And when I was younger, a lot of times I didn't understand what my role was, and that really hindered my career. Now, if I was a side musician on the gig, a lot of times I would probably get out of my lane and make some suggestions that I thought were musically sound, and maybe were musically sound, but that was above my pay grade. My job was to be the side musician. My job was not to be the musical director. And I relayed a story to my buddy from last year. I was doing a road gig, and I was playing with another instrumentalist who was a little bit green, new to the scene, and this instrumentalist was a little bit underprepared and also didn't understand how to do like the basic Nashville's number system, and was reading charts all in the wrong way on the gig. So after about 2 days on the road, I talked with him and I understood, this musician is a little bit underqualified for the gig, doesn't know what's up. It's not his fault. Who it ultimately fell upon was the person who hired that musician for the gig, the person who made that call, the person whose gig it was. My job was just to be the drummer. Now, I could have gotten upset at that instrumentalist and told him, hey man, you need to be doing this, get your shit together, blah, blah, blah. And I would have been right that this instrumentalist was underprepared, and being right would have served me no good. And also, that's not my lane. My job is to be the drummer. My job is to help everybody make that gig go. So I was ultimately telling my buddy, say, listen, I know it's frustrating, and I'm not telling you to not care, because that's impossible for us. We care about music. It's who we are. But also, we only have so much energy to spend. We only have so much time. We only have so many battles to pick. So what battle do you want to pick? Now, if this other instrumentalist on this gig was burying their grave so that they would never work again, don't waste your energy helping them bury that grave. They'll be able to do it themselves. Just smile at them and say, hey, thanks for playing today. If that musician is seeing themselves out the door, you don't need to spend your energy pushing them out and then flipping them off as they leave. Just smile at them, because they are leaving anyways, whether they want to or not. So what I'm saying is that if you're a musician, a side musician, a hired musician, if you really want to succeed and keep working, know your role, know what your lane is. Also, if you want to preserve your mental health, your emotional health, your energy, Know your lane and know your battles. I've been on plenty of gigs where the artist has been making some musical choices that I did not support at all, that I thought were poor choices. But that's their gig and it's their call to make. And one of the things that has really helped me coming to Nashville is reframing myself and saying, oh, I'm on this gig just as a drummer. I am not a band member, but I am there as a worker. I am not management. And that may seem counterintuitive, but for me, that has really helped me in my success in Nashville and continuing to work. Is my job is to support other people. Now, if I want to make the calls on what music we play, what tempos, what clothes we wear, I'll become the band leader. I'll become the artist. But we also know that nobody wants to hear drum artists go solo unless you're Phil Collins, and Phil Collins rules. That's a fact. So if you think Phil Collins rules or if you think he drools, drop it in the comments. If what I'm saying is helpful to you, if it's valid, like, follow, subscribe. Any type of interaction always helps out this channel, and I really value your feedback. I've had a lot of viewers say, I would like to see you talk about this, and I make a video about it. So thanks for following. Again, I'm just a musician here. I'm not a social media influencer. I'm not a content creator. I'm a musician first and just making some content about my experiences. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.